Right friends, welcome back to news of the day with prelims focus. As I have already told you, we will discuss 20 questions in a separate session from May 1st, and revision sessions will be there, they will be separate. So, two separate sessions for civil services preliminary examination from May 1st, each 30 to 35 or 30 to 40 minutes duration, and this we will start from May 1st. Let us go ahead. News of the day for today. This is a conspiracy charge against Advani in Babri masjid case revived. And here tomorrow editorial will come. We will discuss in editorial discussion about the sequence of events from 1992. Babri masjid was demolished in 1992 and subsequently 25 years passed, and now Supreme Court ordered the revival of conspiracy charge against Advani and others. And here two important aspects I would like to tell you from constitutional, or you can say examination perspective. One is Supreme Court can use extraordinary powers under Article 142. So, to do complete justice, Supreme Court can interfere to do complete justice under Article 142. So, in this particular case, to revive the conspiracy charges for reordering the enquiry, Supreme Court used 142 constitutional provision, or you can say 142 of the constitution. Then Article 361, you should not forget that, another important article of the constitution, 361, which gives immunity against criminal proceedings for president and governor as long as they are in office. So, Kalyan Singh, the governor, has got immunity in this case. So, these two articles are very, very important from examination perspective. 142 to do complete justice, 361 basically governor and president will have immunity against criminal proceedings as long as they are in office, right. So, this is the case pertaining to demolition of Babri masjid in Uttar Pradesh. Then Modi shows red light to beacons of this VIP privilege. This red lights you see quite common, and from May 1st onwards there will not be any red light vehicles. The government has modified 1989 regulations, clause 108 of, or you can say rule 108 of 1989 regulations were recent. Yesterday government took the decision. So, from May 1st onwards, no VIP. The Prime Minister said all the citizens in the country are VIPs. So, this VIP culture, whether it will go away or not, we have to see, but this red light culture will go away, and blue lights can be used by specified activities, or you can say blue lights can be used for specified activities like ambulances and fire engines, like that. Some exemptions are given for blue lights, but red lights, it is total full stop from May 1st. Central government took a decision yesterday by modifying the rule of 1989, right. Then not for 16 lakh VVPAT machines. Yesterday we discussed in detail about VVPAT machines and why they are required, what protection they will give, all these things we discussed yesterday. And central government now cleared the proposal for procurement of 16 lakh VVPAT machines, and hopefully they will be ready by 2019 parliamentary elections. And the cost involved is 3,173 crores of rupees. So, what are the advantages and all those things we discussed yesterday. And 2022 Asian Games to open up arena for ESports enthusiasts, and from 2022 Asian Games onwards, please do not forget 2018 Asian Games are going to be held in Indonesia, 2022 are going to be held in China, and from 2022 Asian Games onwards, video gaming will be featured as a full sport in the Asian Games. So, video gaming will be featured as the full sport from 2022 Asian Games. Please do not forget. Government trying to finish off rural employment scheme. There are some allegations by some groups. This rural employment schemes, basically when you are looking at rural employment scheme, you should have clear idea about Mahatma Gandhi Narega, and this is relevant, or you can say from examination perspective this is relevant even today. Here 2-3 important things students may forget. One is the act stipulates minimum wage material ratio of 60-40. The act stipulates minimum wage material ratio of 60-40. So, 60% must be wage component, 40% is material component. So, minimum total wages component must be 60%. And second thing is, it gives rural households the right to work up to 100 days of unskilled manual work. And please do not forget, in budget 17-18 allotment was 48,000 crores of rupees, right. So, 100 days it is right for all the adult citizens above 18 years of age, 60% must be the wage component, and the work is usually on projects to build durable assets like ponds, wells, like that, right. Then China renames 6 areas in Arunachal. China renamed 6 areas in Arunachal. Please look into this, Arunachal Pradesh. And the basic problem is with China. China is not recognizing the sovereignty of Arunachal Pradesh with India. And if you go back to history, in 1913, Tibet declared independence. Subsequent Chinese government did not recognize this. Subsequently, 1914 Shimla Accord. 1914 Shimla Accord defined McMahon Line as the new boundary between Tibet and British India. In those days, British India. So, Tibet and British India, this McMahon Line is as per Shimla Accord of 1914. In fact, China initiated that, but not signed subsequently, and China is not agreeing to this, and their map shows some 65,000 square kilometers of territory south of the line as part of Tibet Autonomous Region, which they call it South Tibet or southern part of Tibet. China says Tibet was not sovereign to sign Shimla Accord in 1914, so they did not have the power to conclude the treaties. So, this is the precise reason why China issues stapled visas to people from Arunachal Pradesh, right. Whenever any citizen of India from Arunachal Pradesh is visiting China, they are giving stapled visas because they are not recognizing the sovereignty of Arunachal Pradesh with India. Next one is dialogue on BCIM corridor to resume next week. In fact, for the past more than 2 years, no meeting was held with regard to this BCIM corridor. Basically, what is the purpose of BCIM corridor? The purpose of BCIM corridor is transport, or you can say cross border transportation, energy and telecommunication network. Please look into this map. This starts from Kunming in China, passes through Myanmar, then Bangladesh, it reaches Kolkata. So, BCIM corridor, it was proposed but not much action. In fact, no meeting was held for the past 2 years. Now, dialogue on BCIM corridor is going to resume next week. That is the news item, right. So, BCIM corridor, if you look at the northeastern part of the country, certain things please do not forget. Kaladan river transport system which passes through Myanmar, trilateral highway which starts from Manipur and it goes up to Thailand via Myanmar. So, trilateral highway, BCIM corridor. At the same time, please do not forget Kaladan multimodal transit transport project, that is another important project if you look at northeastern part of the country, and these things please do not forget. Now, the next news item is large asteroid to pass close to the earth, NASA. And if you look at asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter, please do not forget, and please go through this news item, and it came close to almost 1.8 million kilometers from earth. I think it is around 4.6 times the distance between between earth and moon. So, it came to 4.6 times the distance between earth and moon. Remaining whatever is given in this news item, please go through it, and let us look at this prelims 2017 discussion. The first question, antimicrobial resistance. And when you look at the diseases, the things which comes to my mind are Zika virus. Yesterday we discussed about Zika virus and the diseases pertaining to the diseases which are believed to be because of Zika virus. Yesterday we have discussed Guillain-Barré syndrome and microcephaly, that is a shortening of the brain. And now this question is antimicrobial resistance, and a question can also be asked on multi-drug resistant TB. Multi-drug resistant TB, extensively drug resistant TB, and the drug associated with it, bedaquiline. So, these are the questions you can expect. And now let us come back to the question. This is with regard to antimicrobial resistance. It is in the news quite frequently. Read the following sentences. The first one is, the effectiveness of antimicrobial drugs. Antibiotics are examples of antimicrobial drugs. The effectiveness of antimicrobial drugs. If we have something, some cut is there on our hand, then we use this antimicrobial drugs, or you can say antibiotics we use, so as to kill the bacteria. So, here the effectiveness of antimicrobial drugs will be diminished due to the mutations of infectious bacteria. Due to the changes, mutations of the infectious bacteria, the effectiveness of antibiotics will be reduced. This happens sometimes. That means the mutations in the infectious bacteria happens sometimes because of ill-regulated and overused antibiotics. Because of ill-regulated and overused antibiotics. If antibiotics are used more than required, then automatically it may lead to mutations in the infectious bacteria, and it will not be cured with the available whatever antibiotic drugs, right. So, mutations in the infectious bacteria along with the creation of superbugs. That means not only the mutations in the infectious bacteria and superbugs, they make treating infections difficult. So, with normal antibiotics, you may not be able to treat normal diseases. So, this is the basic problem because of the when this antimicrobial resistance is there. Right. So, this antimicrobial resistance is quite often in the news. This correct answer is all 1, 2, 3. Please understand this. This in addition to drug resistant TB, right. These two are very, very important. Perform, achieve, trade, PAT. Perform, achieve, trade scheme implemented by the government of India resulted in lot of energy savings. And two things please do not forget. Because of Ujala, that means LED lights are being placed in place of incandescent lamps. The target of the government is to provide 77 crore LED lights in place of incandescent lamps, and Ujala resulted in lot of energy saving. And the second equally important scheme implemented by the government is PAT, perform, achieve, trade. This PAT scheme implemented by the government of India resulted in loss of lot of energy savings. And in mains also one question can be expected with regard to the energy efficient measures taken by the government. These two can be quoted as examples with the available factual information also. One is Ujala, the second one is PAT, and PAT scheme typically covers factories or manufacturing units that consume large amounts of energy. This is correct. PAT means specifically factories, manufacturing units are covered that consume large amounts of energy. So, identifying the factories which consume more energy are being done. Then the second sentence is, it rations the power to be made available to each industry to reduce the cost of production. This is wrong. What the PAT scheme is, it identifies factories, subsequently it gives benchmark power consumption. It gives benchmark power consumption, and if the power consumption is less than the benchmark power consumption, then what happens? If the power consumption is less than the benchmark power consumption, then energy saving certificates are given which are tradable in the market, right. So, this is very important scheme from mains perspective also. So, please do not forget PAT scheme. The answer is one only correct. There is a proposal to shift 40 lines to Palpur Kuno sanctuary from Gir sanctuary. Here all of you are familiar with Gir. Gir is in Gujarat, which is famous for Asiatic line. Gir is famous for Asiatic line, and based on the Supreme Court orders of 2013, now some of the Asiatic lines from Gir sanctuary in Gujarat are going to be shifted to Palpur Kuno sanctuary, and this sanctuary is in Madhya Pradesh, and Palpur Kuno sanctuary is in Madhya Pradesh, and that in future maybe shortly may become the second habitat for this Asiatic line, right. So, certain things please do not forget, this is very important, and Ken Betwa link, we will come to it subsequently. Which of the following is wrongly matched? Mission Kakatiya, these are some of the flagship programs of various state governments which are in the news. Mission Kakatiya, this belongs to Telangana. So, here the tanks will be desilted. This is the flagship program of Telangana government. Then interlinking of Godavari, Krishna, this is Andhra Pradesh government flagship program, Pattisima project. Then at the same time, please do not forget Ken Betwa link canal. Ken Betwa link canal basically to improve the water supply to the Bundelkhand regions of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Sauni Yojana, this is one flagship program to support the water supply to Saurashtra region of Gujarat, please do not forget. So, Sauni Yojana is basically Gujarat. Then Mission Bhagiratha, this also belongs to Telangana. So, this is the wrong matched. Mission Bhagiratha is giving water supply to drinking water supply to the remotest parts of the state. This is the flagship program of Telangana government. So, Sauni Yojana, please do not forget, this belongs to Gujarat because this was inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Read the following sentences in view of the recent fraud in debit card transactions. One is skimming and the other one is phishing. I am not talking about malware attack. Malware, because of malware, your debit cards can be compromised. Here look at the skimming and phishing. Skimming is the electronic way of capturing personal information of card holder with a skimmer. Skimmer can be introduced, can be placed when you are using ATM machine. That skimmer will copy the information, right. Then phishing. Phishing is sending emails to the debit card holders in order to induce individuals to reveal personal information like passwords and debit or credit card numbers. So, both are correct. And here skimming. So, skimming is the one important aspect, and now RBI has issued guidelines to reduce the skimming. Please understand. Amendments to Montreal Protocol is in the news recently. Read the following sentences. Amendments to Montreal Protocol, or popularly known as Kigali Pact. Please do not forget about Paris Pact and Kigali Pact. Amendments to Montreal Protocol is in the news. Read the following sentences. CFCs and HCFCs, chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, which are being phased out under Montreal Protocol. This chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons are ozone depleting substances. As it was found big hole in the ozone layer, they were proposed to be eliminated long back. Right? The first sentence is correct. Second one, hydrofluorocarbons. Hydrofluorocarbons have almost zero ozone depleting potential. This is correct. Zero ozone depleting potential. They may have small ozone depleting potential, but it is almost close to zero, or you can say insignificant. Hydrofluorocarbons do not affect ozone, but the biggest problem with hydrofluorocarbons is the biggest problem is they have high global warming potential. That is the biggest problem. So, hydrofluorocarbons have got high global warming potential, and these are going to be eliminated under Kigali Pact, and Kigali Pact is nothing but amendment to Montreal Protocol. Please do not forget. So, both are correct. Then look at the next one. Recently, GSAT-18 was launched from Kourou, a French territory where spaceport is available. Recently, GSAT-18 was launched from Kourou, a French territory. Read the following sentences. India is dependent on other countries for launching heavyweight satellites. India is launching on other countries because we do not have that much carrying capacity. Our rocket launchers cannot take satellites beyond certain limits, say 2200 kg or so. So, India is dependent on other countries for launching heavyweight satellites. Absolutely correct. It is quite cheaper to launch satellites from other countries than from India. This is wrong. The basic reason is we do not have the capability to launch 4000 kg communication satellites. That is why we are going to French territory to launch the satellites. India has got the capability to launch heavier satellites, say in the capacity of 4 tons. Absolutely wrong. So, our capacity is just up to around 2200 kg or so, and for 4000 kg satellites we are dependent on foreign launching facilities. Right. So, one only is correct. Look at the next one. Read the following sentences in view of notification for fixed term employment in apparel sector. Fixed term employment, and a question is expected on this. Government has notified fixed term employment in textiles and apparel sector, and what is the meaning of this fixed term employment? Read the first sentence. It gives the flexibility to employers in apparel manufacturing sector to hire and fire employees as and when felt necessary. Here, as the textile sector employment is quite seasonal in nature, that also in examination somebody may ask you, this textile sector employment is a seasonal in nature, and sometimes they may be required to hire, sometimes they may be required to fire. In view of this, they need not follow the existing labor laws. So, here flexibility is given to employers in apparel manufacturing sector to hire and fire employees as and when felt necessary without bothering about labor laws. The first sentence is correct. Second one is, on termination of the fixed term employment, they have employed for 3 months. On termination, the workmen will be entitled for compensation. Absolutely wrong. No compensation. Whenever they want, they can hire, they can fire at any time they want. So, one only correct. In view of the approval for the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Bill 2016 by the Parliament recently. Now it became an act. So, please do not bother about bill or act. Now it is already an act, or you can say Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act 2016. Read the following sentences. What is the meaning of Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act 2016? The first sentence, it devises permanent institutional framework at center state levels, because when the forest land is, in fact, when the forest land is diverted for other purposes, the previous system was the money is going into the consolidated fund of India or the states, and subsequently they are being withdrawn, and the mechanism of afforestation was not monitored properly previously, and now to monitor it properly, now the devised permanent institutional framework is established based on Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act of 2016. So, the money for compensatory afforestation will be maintained under public account of Union of India as well as of each state as non-lapsable interest bearing funds. So, separate account will be maintained for afforestation. So, both are correct. Look into the last one. Look at the following banks. Public sector banks like SBI, Bank of Baroda, Union Bank of India. Private sector banks like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, payments banks, small finance banks. Which of the above are categorized as differentiated banks or NIC banks? What is the meaning of differentiated banks or NIC banks? The meaning of differentiated banks or NIC banks is they can take up only certain categories of activities. That is the meaning of differentiated bank or NIC bank. First one, universal bank. Second one, universal bank. Third one, differentiated bank or NIC bank. Fourth one, differentiated bank or NIC bank. So, please understand 3 and 4 is the right option. Right friends, we came to the end of the program. So, please do join for editorial discussion in few minutes. Have a nice day. Thank you.